Of course, what did the feminists do in Cologne the day after the event, the day after, what, 1,000 predominantly Moroccan Muslim migrants molested 2,000 women? What did the feminists do? Did they protest against the migrants for importing their rape culture? No. They went down to the local migrant center and gave the migrants flowers.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
I'm going to go to a video now, which just went up on Infowars.com about an hour ago, which I put out, about this transgender individual who's also claiming that he's transracial. This is a white guy. This is a chubby, pasty white guy, born a man. He's not even making the effort to look like a woman, although he claims he's transgender. He also claims that he's transracial and that he's Filipino. He's made decidedly less effort to be transracial compared to Rachel Dolezal, who, of course, the mainstream media came out and elements of it celebrated her. Melissa Harris Perry, as you'll see in this clip, got up on MSNBC and said, yeah, I think it is possible for people to just become black, even if they were born white with ginger hair, just, because they feel black. They actually signed on to some of that insanity. And this is taking it to a new level. This is the transgender guy who thinks he's a Filipino. Here's the clip.
Man says he's transracial.
Oh, God, not this again. This milky white tub of lard born Adam says he now identifies as a Filipino woman called Jadu.
Whenever I'm around the music, I'm around the food, I feel like I'm in my own skin.
Yeah, you're about as Filipino as Rachel Dolezal is African American.
Are you African American?
And who was born white, but believes that he is Filipino. There are just so many questions here.
You're the news. Why are you treating this as a real news story? What's wrong with you?
So many questions here.
But wait, it gets worse. They talked to a psychologist who, instead of having a normal reaction, laughing uncontrollably for minutes on end, actually legitimized this moron's feverish delusion.
Are they hurting you? Are they hurting anyone else? Are they hurting themselves? And are they just trying to be who they feel they are inside? They're going to be happier.
Okay, so I've decided that I'm a black single mother with 8 children. Can I take advantage of affirmative action? Can I get welfare? I mean, this is who I feel I am on the inside, and I'm not hurting anyone, so who are you to tell me I can't be happy? But it's like at least Rachel Dolezal made the effort. She blacked up and put her hair in cornrows. What's this guy done? Dyed his hair pink and bought a tuk-tuk. He hasn't even made the effort to look like a woman, never mind Filipino. At least the girl who claims she's a cat born in a human body commits to it.
I'd watch the History Channel sometimes for hours.
Oh, but he's watched the History Channel, okay? I've watched some kids' television and now I identify as Barney the Purple Dinosaur.
I had to make sure that it wasn't just me, because if it's just me, then there must be something wrong, or maybe I'm just strange.
Yeah, if we can agree on one thing, mate, it's that you're strange. But hey, when you've got pundits on actual mainstream news shows saying that you can just become black if you feel like it, then all bets are off.
But is it possible that she might actually be black? And there is actually a different category of blackness that is about the achievement of blackness despite one's parentage. Is that possible?
It's absolutely possible.
So if I wear a sombrero on Halloween, I'm guilty of cultural appropriation. But if I just start walking around claiming to be Mexican, that's okay. This is the bed you progressives have made with this everything is a social construct crap. So it's time to lie in it. If you're going to claim that men can have babies, that gender is fluid,
and a person's gender identity may change over their lifetime,
that infants shouldn't be assigned a sex at birth, if you're going to claim that biological science no longer matters and that we're
all on a spectrum,
then you can't argue against this freak's claim that she's a reptile. You can't argue against this weirdo's claim that he's a 6-year-old girl.
I have a mommy and daddy, adopted mommy and daddy, who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl.
You can't argue against this idiot's claim that he's Filipino. Embrace it, because you're responsible for all this insanity. Time to own it. That is the video that just went up on Infowars.com earlier. Get it out there. Of course, if you're going to start off on the premise of everything being a social construct, you're going to run into trouble. And now you're running into big trouble with these people claiming that they pour Drano cleaner in their eyes to be trendy. And that's just what they identify as. Don't you dare call it a mental illness. If that's what makes them happy, don't be a bigot. Okay? You own that narrative now. Well done. CNN reports Barbie's first hijab. Meet the new Hijab Muhammad doll. Mattel, which makes Barbie, announced Monday that the latest doll in its Shiro collection will be modeled after Olympic fencer Hijab Muhammad. In 2016, Muhammad became the first American to compete in the games while wearing a hijab. She said, "I'm proud to know that little girls everywhere can now play with a Barbie who chooses to wear hijab. This is a childhood dream come true." The news was announced at Glamour's Women of the Year Summit. The doll will go on sale in 2018. Barbie has been working hard to make sure its collection of dolls are more diverse in an effort to broaden the brand's appeal. Now, where did this Hijab Barbie idea originate from? Did it originate from this Olympic athlete? No, it originated from feminists, because we reported on it before that. They were pressuring Mattel into creating a hijab Barbie because, again, they were basically fearful of Trump's election and thought that it would herald a new Islamophobic purge in America. Of course, nothing like that has happened. But again, this came from feminists. It didn't come from Muslim groups. It came from predominantly white, feminist, leftist groups who have sided with Islam, despite the fact that Islam is the most misogynistic, sexist belief system on the planet. And by the way, that's what Arab feminist groups 100 years ago thought, because it was the Egyptian Feminist Union, one of the first feminist groups in existence in that part of the world, that discarded their hijabs as a form of protest. So the very first Muslim Arab feminist group in the Middle East discarded their hijabs. Let that sink in. 100 years ago, they knew it was a symbol of oppression. 100 years later, CNN and all the rest of these dominant cultural institutions are presenting it as a symbol of feminism, coming as it does from the same part of the world that literally gave birth to something called the rape game, which, of course, we saw in Egypt with Laura Logan, and which, of course, we've seen imported into the West on the wave of Islamic immigration, which has brought with it skyrocketing sexual assault figures and the mass molestation of women in major cities like Cologne. Of course, what did the feminists do in Cologne the day after the event, the day after, 1,000 predominantly Moroccan Muslim migrants molested 2,000 women? What did the feminists do? Did they protest against the migrants for importing their rape culture? No. They went down to the local migrant center and gave the migrants flowers. That's how the feminists responded to the mass molestation of women. Oh, and by the way, you know what Muslim Syrian women do in areas of Syria that have been liberated from ISIS? What's the first thing they do? They discard their hijab because ISIS enforces stringent rules on Islamic headwear. They make everybody wear a burqa, at least, if not the full face covering. They discard the veils when they're liberated from ISIS. But CNN, feminists, all these dominant cultural institutions want you to believe it's trendy. All right, don't listen to me. Listen to Azra Q. Nomani, the founder of the Muslim Reform Movement. She wrote that the hijab is, quote, a symbol of a dangerous purity culture obsessed with honor and virginity that has divided Muslim communities in our own civil war. Again, this is not me saying this. This is the head of the Muslim Reform Movement. Since the Saudi and Iranian regimes promulgated puritanical interpretations of Sunni and Shia Islam after the 1970s Saudi oil boom and the 79 Iranian Revolution. And she lists numerous examples where this purity culture has resulted in the deaths of young women and girls. We'll get back on the other side to talk about it. This is the Alex Jones Show Live, breaking news at Infowars.com.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.